How's it going, my bakers? I hope you're having a great day. Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're making another flatbread. It's pretty unique, so let's go to the kitchen and check it out. I really love a good flatbread, and this one may just be the ultimate kind of flatbread. Aloo Paratha are Indian potato stuffed flatbreads. Aloo is the potato, and paratha is just a type of flatbread. The potatoes are first boiled and then crushed, and mixed with spices and seasonings. The best part is that you could adjust them to your liking. Now, these breads can be eaten as part of a meal or just on their own, and I think it's appropriate to eat them at any time of the day. I just love them like this. Little bit of raita, some pickle, some fresh onions, and some fried chilies. If you have this for breakfast, it'll set you up for the day. And I guess I forgot to mention, they are so easy to make, especially if you follow my instructions. So let's get right to it and see what we need. For the dough, we'll need some whole wheat flour, water, and salt. These breads are unleavened, so there's no yeast or baking powder in them. Next up, we need some potatoes, specifically waxy potatoes, ones that have a yellow interior. If it makes good mash, it will work in here. To season the potatoes, I got some fresh coriander, fresh ginger, fresh chili, salt, garam masala, ground cumin, ground coriander, and asafoetida. To cook them, I'll use some ghee, which is clarified butter, but you can use oil instead. Same for the spices, you can swap them out for your favorite spices. I'm using Indian whole wheat flour, it's called atta. If you can find it, get it. It's not like the whole wheat flour that we are used to. It's a lot lighter and finer. If you can't find it, you can use regular whole wheat flour. I would suggest sifting it through a sieve though, to remove some of the bran. To accompany the aloo paratha, we'll make some raita. It's made with yogurt, fresh onions, fresh chili, salt, and some ground cumin. To eat alongside, we got some fresh onions, some fresh chilies, which we're going to fry. And to give everything an extra flavor punch, we got some pickle. This is specifically hot mango pickle. There are countless different pickles, and you can use your favorite one. But if you don't like the intense flavors, well, you can just leave it out. This here comes from a common brand for Indian sauces and spices. Now, as for the equipment, we will need a pan for cooking apparatus. You can also use a cast iron skillet. It does a lot better at higher temperatures. We'll also need a bowl, scales, dough scraper, and a rolling pin. There's definitely a need for more ingredients than equipment in this recipe. You could prepare the dough and the filling a day ahead of time. They can fill the parathas and cook them on the next day. I want them right now. So first things first, I'm going to start boiling my potatoes. And whilst the potatoes are boiling, I'm going to get everything else done. The potatoes should take around 30 minutes. Next up, we can make the raita. And it's just as simple as mixing all the ingredients together. The ground cumin is the magic ingredient in this one, in my opinion. It just works so well with the yogurt. What will you add to your raita and how much is totally up to you. I'll put this in the fridge for later. Let's get on with the dough. Grab a large bowl, combine the water and the salt, and mix it well. You want to dissolve the salt completely. Trust me, it's not a lot of fun trying to knead the gritty dough. Next up, add the flour. Then grab your scraper and mix it to a dough. Mix it in a bowl until there's no more dry flour left. Then tip it out on the table and we can start kneading. This dough is not sticky and it's very easy to work with. I'm going to use the regular kneading method. What I like to do is press down and forwards with the heel of my right hand, then use the fingers of my left hand and fold the piece of dough under the heel of my right hand, then turn it and repeat. This whole process will take no more than 3 minutes. The dough should be nice and smooth and cohesive. This looks just about right. Straight after mixing, we can go into dividing. You should always weigh your dough before dividing it. Don't just rely on the numbers in the recipe. It will never add up to that, no matter what you try. This recipe will make you 8 parathas, so divide the dough into 8 equal pieces, and after dividing, you want to shape them into balls. Take a piece of dough, flatten it out, then fold the edge over the middle, going around in a circle until you reach point where you started. Then flip the dough smooth side up, tighten it against the table, and then finally, you can pick it up and pinch the seam together at the bottom. That's your dough ball done. And by the time you finish the other 7, you'll be a pro. Now we're going to place them on a plate or on a tray, cover them and then refrigerate them. Cooling the dough balls down will make them easier to work with. And we still have some work to do before we can fill them. So pop them in the fridge and check on the potatoes. Poke them with a knife. If it goes in nice and smoothly, then they're fully cooked. And my ones seem just about right. Right now, they will be too hot to handle. So place them on a plate, out of the water, and leave them to cool down for around half an hour. Don't put them in cold water. Leaving them on a plate like this will allow some of the moisture to evaporate. We want this mix to be nice and dry after all. Once the potatoes have cooled down, peel them carefully. Do not remove too much of the potato. All we need to do now is crush them with a fork until they're nice and fine, and then mix them with all the seasonings and spices. As I mentioned earlier, you want a waxy potato. Look at the texture of this. It's nice and smooth, it's not crumbly, and the color is really bright and yellow. Potatoes with a white interior would be too watery for this. These kind of yellow potatoes would make really great mashed potato. And the potato that makes great mash will make great aloo paratha filling. By the way, the method that I'm going to show you can also be used for filling flatbreads with minced meat. So something like keema naan could be filled in a very similar way. So after mixing the filling, we need to do the same thing that we did with the dough. We need to weigh it and divide it into 8 equal pieces. We have almost a 1-to-1 ratio of dough to filling, which is pretty good. After dividing, you want to wet your hands with some water and just shape the potato balls so they're nice and round. Using water will prevent the potato from sticking to your hands, of course. Now we'll cover the filling up and also refrigerate it. It is the same principle as with the dough balls. A cold filling will be easier to handle. But now the timing is up to you. You want to refrigerate them for at least 30 minutes. But if you want to, you can leave them in the fridge overnight and continue tomorrow. I'm making them on the same day, so 30 minutes it is for me. And now comes the fun part. We'll get to learn a new technique. It may take a little practice, but it's not difficult at all. And you have 8 of these to practice on. So by the last one, you'll be master. Okay, we'll do them one by one. Take some flour, grab 1 dough ball and 1 potato ball. Dust your hands with flour lightly to prevent the dough from sticking to them. Now gradually, using your thumbs and fingers, turn the dough and stretch it. You want it to be about 10 centimeters or 4 inches in diameter. Now take the filling and place it on the dough. Now wrap the dough around the filling. And here's the magic move. What you want to do is use your thumb and press the filling down as you're wrapping the dough around it. Keep pressing the filling in and pushing the dough around. Gradually, the dough will come up higher and higher until it's all closed up around the filling. All you need to do now is pinch the seam together so it doesn't come open, and then flatten the dough ball. This is the perfect technique. The dough will have an even thickness on both sides, and there are no air bubbles trapped inside. And all you need to do is 7 more. And there you have it. They are looking pretty good. If your kitchen is a little bit humid, I would suggest dusting the board with flour so they don't stick. Okay, now we can move on to the last step before cooking. To roll them out, I like to dust them generously with flour. And to begin with, I like to press them out by hand instead of using a rolling pin right away. This just ensures that they are nice and round. Now when it comes to rolling them, here's what you want to do. Every time you roll back and forth, turn the dough. This again will ensure that they open up gradually and become nice and round. And that goes for any flatbread. You can make them thicker or thinner. I would say this one is about 2 millimeters thick. Right, let's get this over to the stove. Drop it in a preheated pan. The pan must be very hot. I've got this on the highest heat setting. And yes, it's a dry pan to begin with. Cook it for 1 minute, then flip it around. Once you've flipped it, brush the other side with ghee or with oil. And ghee is just clarified butter. It's common in Indian cooking. And you don't want to use regular butter because it will burn. Clarified butter has the milk solids removed, so it is only the fat of the butter. Okay, once you have brushed your paratha, keep cooking it for another minute and keep pressing it down using your spatula. Then flip it, brush it again with some more ghee and keep pressing it down and cooking it for 1 more minute. Pressing it into the pan just ensures that it browns evenly all over. If you let it puff up and leave it be, it will just brown in the middle. Look at all that steam coming out. That's pretty cool, right? After the 3rd minute of cooking, you can flip it around again and cook it for another 30 seconds or so. My ones were nice and brown on both sides, so they were ready. Stack them up on top of each other. Unlike most flatbreads, these don't really need to be covered. There's so much fat on them that they won't go dry. Okay, let's fry some chilies. I'm always paranoid that they're going to explode, so I poke them with a knife. But I'm not sure if it does anything though. You want to cook them in hot oil for around 2 minutes. That's 180 degrees or 340 Fahrenheit. There will be a lot of oil splashing around, so I would suggest using a deep pot or using a lid. Okay, chilies are ready. We can enjoy our paratha. Just look at that texture. It's so soft and flexible. I'm sure there is an etiquette to this, but it's my paratha and I'll eat it the way I want to. And there we have it. A little bit of raita, fried chilies and fresh onions, all wrapped up into a neat little package. And wow, I must say again, this may just be the best flatbread ever. I really hope you try it. So what do you think of this aloo paratha? Have you ever tried it before? And what is your favorite flatbread? Let me know down in the comments. If you want to see more videos like this one, click over here. Subscribe to the channel, click right here. But that's all I have for you today. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.